Good evening, everybody. March. So I guess we will start with the roll call for our friend Eugene.
Brian Ogle.
Here.
Jacob Paswick.
Here.
Lee Anderson. Kevin Brown. Chris Clark.
Here.
Denise Flatley. Luther Forbes.
Here.
Deborah Foltz. Brian Gouge. Rachel Inman. Here. Jim Lynch.
Here.
Craig Pennington. Brent Hunsinger.
Here.
Matthew Lehane.
Here.
Julie have a quorum.
All right, very good. Thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda is the approval of the March 5th, this meeting agenda.
Move to approve as presented.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And the next item is the approval of the January 8th meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved. And second that.
Second. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So before we move on, should we introduce our new members? Maybe we can just each go around and where we are or who we're representing and how we're on the committee. I'll start. I'm Brian Ogle. Been on the committee now a couple of years, and I am the Stafford County citizen representative. To my left here.
Luther Forbes. I do also go by Luke. I am the Fredericksburg City citizen rep. I live about a 10-minute walk down the road that way, just off Lafayette. And my day job, I work at FAHAS, Fredericksburg Area Health and Support Services, as a case manager. Did a lot of housing case management in the past too. So, yeah.
My name is Jacob Paswick, Long Range Planning Manager for Spotsylvania County Planning Department. Been with BPAC since the beginning. Gosh, since the beginning, exactly. Yeah. Before we met regularly.
Yeah.
You know.
Me, Jacob.
Yeah,
we've been here.
We go way back.
We've been here
You
forever.
guys were here before me, and I think you're the only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he and I are probably.
Nice to meet y'all. Or y'all know me. I meet you too.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm Jim Lynch. I represent the Dahlgren Railroad Heritage Trail and the Potomac Heritage Trail Association. I'm not actually officially representing the Potomac Heritage Trail, but the association is a Friends of the Trail organization that's primarily active up in the Loudoun County area for all that. But I am here. So that's all I have to say about me.
Thanks, Jim.
My name is Brent Hunsinger. I serve as the Spotsylvania representative, first time, so thank you. I do a lot of cycling and that type of thing, so the Route 217 corridor is a very big and near and dear to try and improve and figure that problem out for cyclists and pedestrians. And for my day job, I work for Friends of the Rappahannock.
Chris Clark, Director of Parks and Recreation in King George County. Also, I'm a resident transportation guesser. I went to
Rachel Inman, I'm the VDOT representative. I work at VDOT Fredericksburg District Planning.
Matthew Lehane, Stafford County Government, Transportation Planning Manager. I guess I've been on here since I've been with Stafford, but also when I was with FAMPO, so helped it out.
Yeah, okay. Carrie Eves, I'm the Transportation Program Manager at FAMPO, and I roused this up and made it a regular committee. Before that, it was ad hoc. I think 2018, early 2018, I think was about, because you guys were with it in like 2016. It was ad hoc for the LRTP.
way low.
Just came together for the regional trail plan and then
Yep.
it would go away and then it would come back again.
Lita, you will introduce yourself.
I'm Lita, I'm for FAMPO staff, so you'll hear more from me. I'm Eugene Lang, I'm also FAMPO staff, I am their public health Title VI coordinator.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. And I guess what we will do now is move on to the public comment period. Are there any members of the public in this room or online who would like to make a comment? No one online? All right, hearing no public comments, we'll close the window and we'll move on to item 6 for discussion and action items. First, the bike ped features in the Smart Scale Round 7 regional applications.
Okay, so round 7 of Smart Scale is beginning. That is basically Smart Scale is the state's largest funding program, and it's a biennial program, but it takes about 2 years to make an application. So we're always working at it basically. And this round, I wanted to let you guys know what bicycle and pedestrian improvements are going along with our applications, specifically because folks got a little discouraged since round 5 when we got so much great bicycle and pedestrian stuff out of that round. And then things changed. So I wanted to let folks know that we've still got bike ped stuff going on. Next slide. So these are our regional pre-applications. So FAMPO gets to put in, there's 2 ones there. Okay, FAMPO gets to put in 5 and GWRC gets to put in 5, but somehow my little number went wacky. We will have to drop 1 each. So there'll be 4 full applications, but right now we're in pre-app. So we put I-95 widening on both lists just as a sort of insurance. So we've got 1 to drop if we need to. But these are, I'm just going to show you all of the ones that have bike ped, so we don't need to go through these on this slide. Next slide. All right. Next slide. So the first one we've got, and I used to have Jacob tell me about all these, but he's not so much working on
I may
these.
be able to help a bit. We'll see.
Okay, well, so on this one,
Yeah.
Germanna Point Drive Extension, if you want to look up in the top left over there, this is a road that's going to connect 17 where Germanna Community College is, and then all the way over to Spotsylvania Avenue where the hospital and the city bank building,
The old Capital One building.
Capital One, I always confuse those two. That old building, it's going to be a new connector road connecting the 2 of those.
Yes.
But there's going to be shared use path along part of it. What we've got blown up big here is the eastern end where there's going to be 2 bus stops at the Capital One building. Right now there is a sort of bus stop there, but these are going to be paired bus stops with a new crosswalk. And that yellow line is going to be the shared use path. Next slide. Now we've got the western end over near the college. There's going to be a roundabout there and then more yellow shared use path. The green is sidewalk that is going to connect to, on the far right there, a future TAP project that is sidewalk.
Was funded.
I believe so.
And then I would just say, you see the shared use path stopping short. The long-term plan obviously is to take that all the way to 17, where it'll cross into the Hospital Boulevard shared use path network, which is going south and ties in with Spotsylvania Parkway Trail. And then we'll get to Route 17 because 17 is part of this too. We have proffers and the Route 17 pipeline study with VDOT working on that, and the east-west study from FAMPO.
Yep.
We are looking at running that 17 corridor all the way up to New Post, and there's a lot of movement on that as well. So.
Yeah. The
Yes.
widening of 17 is proper, but not the shared use path, I believe. Right?
Part of the shared use path is cost shared.
Yeah, or maybe
Correct.
area.
The Hunters Ridge Data Center is constructing a portion of the shared use path east of Cosner Drive. And then they cost shared the design and construction. I think they did the design work, but then the construction was going to be county funded between Hospital Boulevard and Cosner Drive. And then obviously to the west of that with the I-95 bridge, all of that shared use path was installed already there. There's a lot going on, actually. This whole stretch is coming together.
We're gonna get to that one. I will tell you, Jacob, a new development as of Friday. The yellow shared use path is going to have to stop at the roundabout.
Cost savings issue or?
No, they're considering it not a logical terminus to
Oh.
hit that drive.
I understand. Yeah,
So they won't be able to continue it until they can continue it somewhere that makes more sense. I know.
Logical terminus. So
It is what it is.
It becomes challenging when you have to piecemeal it because you don't
Yeah,
have
because
limitless dollars.
I have one in Stafford that just stopped at the road and goes nowhere.
Sidewalk or shared use
Should
path?
just pass.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyway, next slide. Let's see. This one is, can we not cover the slides up with that? At the
Are you able to make
bottom?
it full screen?
There we go. Okay. So this is Route 208 at Levels Road. This was also put in last round. It's been tweaked ever so slightly. So this one is to try to get your bearings. This is Route 208 and Levels Road intersection. For the bike ped on this, there's an 8-foot shared use path from the intersection on the northwest side to Mill Garden Drive, and also some sidewalk sections to fill in the gaps along Levels Road.
Yeah, and I can complement that as well. On the shared use path, if you're familiar with L'Oreal Park area, there's a shared use path that extends all the way down the side of Levels Road. It's constructed out of concrete, but it's a shared use path, wide concrete sidewalk / shared use path that goes all the way down Levels to this intersection. And then just south down the 208 corridor at Estates at Breckenridge, there's actually a trailhead that's constructed from that project, maintained by the county, with shared use path that's constructed headed towards L'Oreal Park, kind of a back entrance, but the bridges have never been constructed in 15-20 years. That's something that I know some of the citizens have been raising. We've asked for that to be considered for a CIP project, but long story short, what we're trying to do here is link that Levels Road connection, which actually extends up to Salem Church Road and the VCR trail as well. But to connect this Levels Road shared use path ultimately down 208 to meet up with that Estates at Breckenridge, that public trailhead, where long term we'll go up Massaponax Creek with a greenway. So that's what that one's for.
Next
Is
slide.
there
Go ahead.
I noticed that 8-foot shared use path. Is there a standard preferred with?
Usually
I've seen 10.
Yeah, 10 is the standard, but they can do a design waiver for 8 when they need to.
There's some space. It's a limited space, I think, is probably part of the problem.
Okay, next slide. All right, so we were talking about the Route 17 widening Cosner Drive to east of Massaponax Church Road. So the project is a mix, like we said, of cost sharing, developer agreements, and an application for smart scale. There's even some revenue sharing in there. Lots of stuff going on. So widening Route 17 along with a shared use path along the south side. This is going to extend the network that includes the Spotsy Parkway Trail out to Massaponax Church Road, and I believe even further eventually. So that's going to be a really long network.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's they're going to be constructing the shared use path on the south side. This money coming from several different places for that.
Yep. Proffers, Hunters Ridge Data Center, FAMPO East-West study complements this, and a lot of those recommendations on the side of the road came from that FAMPO East-West study, and then the Route 17 pipeline study has been really helpful as well, really getting this down to design phase. This is a big win if we can.
Great. So yeah, that's quite a lot of bike path right there. Okay, now it's Stafford's turn.
So this is up on Garrisonville Road. We have a project essentially from, if you know Garrisonville Road, from Stafford Marketplace, which is, I guess, right at where it gets off at I-95, all the way out to, with multiple projects, all the way out to Shelton Shop Road. The scope of this project here is really just filling the gaps and adding some small little bits of additional capacity on Garrisonville Road. So we're looking at a sidewalk through most of the corridor where there is not existing sidewalk, just filling those gaps. We did look at shared use path in this corridor, but it's just too cost prohibitive. A sidewalk, you need let's say a 3-foot buffer and a 5-foot sidewalk. You need 8 to 10 feet of right of way. For a shared use path, you need a 6 to 8 foot buffer and then a 8 to 10 foot shared use path. Double the amount of space, and especially in a corridor like this, you just don't have millions of dollars in commercial right of way costs, which is just not feasible. So that's why this project is looking specifically at just filling in some of those sidewalk gaps in this area, improving the conditions for the actual roadway as well. So.
Are you also doing improvements in the
Yes.
intersections?
Yep. So some of the intersections will have crosswalk improvements at Stafford Marketplace, at Stafford Marketplace and Salisbury Drive, at Mine Road and Stafford Borough, which is what's on the screen here, at Dockstone and Garrison Road, at Worth Avenue and Garrison Road, potentially at Onville, at Eustis, and at Center Street. That will improve some of the crosswalks as well. I'll note just south of here, we do have a TAP project also improving the crosswalk. So we're kind of connecting all of that together. And then we have a pipeline study as well, which is improving conditions along part as well. And this project also has parking lot improvement, bus stop enhancements, shelters, better opportunities for slugging, things like that. So.
Are there bus stops in this stretch or?
In this stretch, no, there's no
Okay.
particular bus stops. The bus stops right now go through the commercial areas, so it goes through Stafford Marketplace.
Okay.
And it goes just south of here on Green Spring Drive. So right now what we're looking at is making bus stop improvements at the park ride lot, as well as with the pipeline study, some along Mine Road, which is really just south of here, where we're potentially putting a bus stop. Take it off of Walmart property. Having a private property and having the bus have to go into Walmart, turn back around, waste time, putting it actually on Mine Road so the bus can just pull over on Mine Road, pick up people and keep on going. It's just creating a more, cohesive and better network to connect to. So
To explain on some of these slides, when they're all down a corridor like this, the improvements, there are like, the pictures would have to be so tiny
you
you couldn't see them.
yeah.
There's like 8 of these. So I just chose one that was
Okay,
sort of representative
okay,
of what the project was doing.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
not everything is included.
As a part of our agenda packet from last Tuesday's board meeting, there is some slides on Smart Scale, which includes the graphics of each of our 7 Smart Scale projects, which you'll have to do a lot of zooming in, but does include a cohesive picture of this whole corridor and what we're doing on a multitude of projects. So, right now, this is probably costing, I don't know, $25 million. So we'll put some local money on it and after some Smart Scale money.
Next slide.
And this is the other.
You wanted to talk about it, I'm gonna let you.
This is the other Garrison Road improvement project. So we have 2, like I mentioned, one going down Eustis, and then this one picking up at Eustis going down to Shelton Shop Road. And this one really is also just filling in the sidewalk gaps. The shared use path is too costly, so we elected to fill in the sidewalk gaps and cover some of our master plan sidewalk projects here. So this is at Shelton Shop Road. We have projects at Wolverine Way, which is a crosswalk improvement to actually give better access to the school and a sidewalk to get into the high school. As well as we have projects at Parkway Boulevard, which builds a sidewalk around the corner, which gets students from the community just south along Parkway Boulevard up and around the corner, build that sidewalk there, and then connects them to an existing sidewalk on Garrison Road to get to school. So essentially, we're allowing students who already walked there a better opportunity to walk to school. That's one of the main purposes of that. And then we have improvement, as mentioned, at Parkway, and then we have improvement at Eustis as well, just add some additional turn lanes, as well as complete a very small sidewalk gap down between Garrison Road and I think Matthew Court.
And to clarify, that blue line is the sidewalk.
Yes. Yeah, everything, depending on the consultant, everything's a little bit different colors.
Yeah.
We've slowly matched things up, but so these look similar, but not perfectly aligned, unfortunately. On this project, we have about $21 million on the project already. About 10 million local from our 2019 bond, and then 10 million in revenue sharing funding from the state. So we're looking at 128,000 in SDBG federal funding as well. So really, we're looking at getting about $9 million from the state and smart. We have already started engineering on it. That is underway right now. And cost estimate done, so that.
Okay, so to put that in context, 9 million, very large request.
Yeah, and not a $30 million project.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's great.
so and really the other thing I'm also mentioning is we're committed to the project. We're doing engineering. We have 20 million on it. Don't get smart scale. We readjust the scope a little bit, but it is moving ahead. So we aim to go in construction probably about 29, 30, 31 maybe, if not earlier, hopefully, but see how all that goes.
Okay, next slide. All right, we got here, oh, Warrenton Road.
And now we move down to Warrenton Road, so you'll notice the scope of our projects this round are, we have 3 projects up along or near Garrisonville Road, and we have 3 projects down or along Warrenton Road. So this project in particular is kind of out in western sections of Warrenton Road, I guess, the western urban boundary, where we're, filling in sidewalk gaps along the corridor as well, and widening the road. We do have a high school going in here, elementary school going in here, as well as, I think there's over 700 homes going in just west of here as well. So this project, and just on either northwest and northeast quadrant, some pretty significant commercial developments potentially. So this project really is just adding that additional capacity for all of that development. We have about 1.5 million hopefully in revenue sharing, 1.5 million in STBG. We have about maybe 2.5 in proffers. We'll put a good bit of local money on it, and then total project cost is probably around $30 million. So just similar constraints to the previous project with the shared use path, which is why we're just doing a sidewalk on this, and in reality just filling in the actual existing gaps. We did price out a shared use path, but it was probably $7 million more to do that along this corridor, and has some pretty significant right-of-way issues down near some residential homes to the east.
All right, next slide.
And this is our other fun Warrenton Road project. So this is going all the way from, Lendell Lane, just east of I-95, all the way west to Stafford Lakes, where kind of the widening starts. So this project is just, completing spot improvements and some widening on Warrenton Road. We're looking at improvements along, let's see, we got improvements at Lendell Lane, we got improvements at McLean Drive, Falls Run Drive, Plantation Drive, Litchfield Boulevard, and International Parkway, as well as a widening in certain sections of Warrenton Road. In reality, we're filling in all the sidewalk gaps along the corridor, as well as in this section that Carrie has here, starting to build out that north-south network of a shared use path up Plantation Drive. If you know Plantation Drive, there's an existing, I want to say 5-foot, 6-foot asphalt trail along most of the roadway. Similar to the late 90s, early 2000s type of development where they didn't build a full shared use path, but they built an asphalt trail, which is better than nothing. So we're looking to connect to that eventually further up the road. So we're continuing that down to just almost to this intersection here. So just building that shared use path out for this corridor. So eventually the plan is, say you start at Mine Road, you can make it all the way down to Plantation Drive on a shared use path. Eventually get to Stellar Virginia Parkway. Eventually take a river crossing across the river and get all the way to the city of Fredericksburg, which has shared use paths on Fall Hill. I can keep going all the way out to Dixon Park, to Route 2.
And then we can go down
Yeah.
that way. Down
Right now, I'm as far as Fannin Airport with that
Or-
widening project.
Or we can go out to Stafford County, out to Chatham Bridge, out to the Dogwood Heritage Trail, out to Dahlgren. So, I just talked about a tiny piece, but this tiny little piece is a part of a much larger.
If we had a regional map that had all the pieces are really starting to.
There.
I need to update the old Greenway map that we made.
Yeah. I guess one idea, I could do a interactive map that can just be posted on the website that shows all the existing facilities and planned facilities. Those that are included as separate sidewalk and shared use path projects, but also ones that are a part of roadway projects, don't include the road portion, but just say plans. Here.
We have one in development, an interactive website like that.
Yep.
It's just being filled in, that's the issue.
Yeah. All the GIS data exists, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So.
Great.
To a point. So, like I said, this is a tiny little piece of our larger network that we talked about, but we'll see if this project gets funding, and we'll go from there.
Mhm.
So,
I have a question.
yep.
On these corridors that you mentioned, Garrisonville, Warrenton. You ever see many bicyclists on those roads? I guess they have to be in the travel lane.
Yeah, it's not safe. We don't see much. You'd see them more on the side roads. Think Warrenton Road.
Yeah.
Think roadways like Truslow Road. You'd see them more often if they are out there on Truslow Road rather than Warrenton Road. So we've had some people inquire about bike lanes and bike facilities, but it is, on a road like this, a lot more difficult. Which is why, I mentioned there's no straight use path on this road because of right of way concerns.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you focus on the alternative routes.
Well, I understand, yeah, it's
A good
it's
example.
a major issue to.
Yeah.
Trying to
Yes.
I
Yeah. I think a good example of an alternative, you think Route 1 going from Stafford, or going from, City of Frederick North into Stafford and further north. We were talking about when, before the meeting started, but there's bike lanes from Cool Springs Road, Deacon Road, and then planned all the way up to the train station. That's your alternative to Route 1. So that's really what we're focusing on. We're not focusing on the main roads right now.
Yeah, it's just,
Difficult and costly. We look at the secondary road that's potentially more attainable or already built out.
In a lot of ways, it's opportunity lost from decades ago development patterns that totally dismissed the idea of having right of way and installing frontage improvements in the first place. I mean, I'll say that's one of the things I've even noticed. It's like we're trying to retrofit road corridors that 30 years ago, it wasn't even, there was no plan. There was no pursuit of it. And so you kind of get, you're blocked in some ways. It's very costly.
Yeah. And that's a great point. I mean, that's not to say we're not doing it. I mean, if you look at Stafford and you look at Spotsy, you look at Route 1, there's a number of projects that are building.
We're slowly getting off the boulevard established with sidewalks, but it's a slog to get there.
Yeah, we got 2 data center projects that are building shared use paths on Route 1. So I mean, that's a plus, but they're just gonna be the project and then nothing else.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be swamp land or unbuildable land that's just gonna take millions of dollars eventually for the county to build.
Yeah.
It's unattainable at this time. This is why we're focusing on, little sections like this that are maybe more attainable for.
at least there's that,
Yeah. You get the little pieces built. I mean, I think there's a larger plan, there's a network, but it's gonna take a while. We've had success in TAP, we've had success in Smart Scale, so we're gonna see how it goes from there. So we have quite a large shared use path planned for one of our other Smart Scale projects on Route 1 up by Forest and Woods in North Stafford. So that will hopefully be a winning project that will get a pretty big section built. So
good. Well, thank you.
All right, next. Okay, so those are the projects. The pre-application portal is open, so we are starting to put those in. We have about a month, a little less than a month now. So they will be screened out, screened in. We hope they'll be screened in. And then the full application portal opens June 1st. Then we'll have till August 3rd to get everything in, and then we'll know early next year what we've got.
These are the regional pre-apps. Do we have any insights? I'll have to go back to the locals.
So I don't have enough information about all the locals to showcase them. I know some of them well, and I don't know all of them.
Okay.
Want me to talk about this?
You can, but I don't think Jacob knows all.
I don't
know.
Or we can come back next meeting and do it. I mean, that's fine too.
That'd be great. We could do
Just
that.
because there are other slots out there.
Absolutely are. There absolutely are
In addition to
projects
Yeah.
that the localities are submitting with bike ped stuff, for sure. These are the ones that FAMPO and GWRC are submitting.
Yeah.
But yes, the localities also have them. I just don't have the information about all of them.
Gotcha.
The tunnel under I-95 is not a part of the project this year, right?
No, it is not, because it's like $50 million all by itself.
Yeah.
So it is not. Yeah. There you go. Next slide. I think we're done. That's it.
All right. Great. We'll move on to our next item, the bicycle and pedestrian counter report. Lita?
Great. So an overview for the members of just this program is just that little gray box you can see in the image attached to that sign is our bicycle and pedestrian counter. And I've moved that throughout the region to monitor activity along different desire lines, more on sidewalks or shared use paths or whatever the site is. And then I'll regularly provide reports to BPAC. To go to the next slide, Eugene. There's also, in addition to that moving counter, there's a counter that's always on the Chatham Bridge fair use path. And so here's what we've got for the year so far. You can see that dip in the graph there, right when the snow and ice came.
Yeah.
And that was really just, difficult to walk on the path there. Not many people were, but I guess, hey, some people were throughout all those days. And then that first big spike after the ice was the day the monks were coming through, which is what the pictures of. People really showed up and were on the bridge interacting.
But the monks didn't get counted because they're on the actual. See that?
And then following that, those two other peaks are on Saturdays, just as the weather's been getting nicer. So, nothing too out of the usual there. Next slide, Eugene. And so the mobile counter, these are the reporting sites for the past 2 months, or month. It's been Fredericksburg at Riverfront Park, and that's again, it was there last year, but in the summer, in June and July, last week of June, first week of July. Now we're gonna see it in January. Also a new site out along Glenda's Way, right at Tidewater Trail, where some recent pedestrian improvements have been put in. And finally at Stafford, right at the Town and Country Shopping Center, there's an entry point to that shopping center across from Little Wim Drive, I believe. Anyway, we can talk more about that when we get to that site. We can go to the next slide, Eugene. So yeah, here's at Riverfront Park, and honestly, still doing really well for being in the middle of winter. Relative last time we monitored it was in June. And while the numbers aren't quite that high, still people are using this regularly all throughout the year. Next slide. Glenda's Way. Okay, yeah. So this is the site that was the most impacted by the snow and ice. I set it up a couple days before it started snowing, and you can see that first day of precipitation, it drops to 0. And I'm kind of surprised by how much it jumps soon after that, the 17th there, because you can see in the photograph, this is when I went to go collect it after it had been put up, and there's weren't even footprints really on the other side of it. I mean, that's because it was so icy too, that so maybe the footprints weren't imprinting into the snow, but also maybe no one was walking there. Actually in that photo, you can see someone, you can't see it from where you're sitting, the distance to it, but there is someone at the intersection who I saw who had walked along the road to get there just as I was going to pick it up. So there's evidence that people were still going to the shopping center from the neighborhood across the way, but we're no longer using the sidewalk and we're opting for the road with the ice conditions. So kind of a bummer, but hey, not that unexpected, I guess, given the weather. Next slide. So I did delay putting it up at this final site a week because that picture when I was taking it down at Glenda's Way, the same condition was found over here pretty much. And I thought, we're not gonna capture people, so by the time I put it back up, the sidewalk was clear, people could walk. And this is definitely one of our lower reporting sites for the region, but really the only generator of trips is across White Oak Road there, which is not super desirable crossing conditions. I mean, just kind of high speed, and no crosswalk or anything. So, but there are residential neighborhoods just back there. So the fact that there are some people crossing, we might expect it. But anyway, yeah, just goes to show people are crossing there even with the lack of facilities. All right, next slide. Oh yeah, this is just the schedule for the rest of the year, including the first 3 sites I showed you today. The counter is on the canal path right now in Fredericksburg, right next to the dog park, and I'll be moving it to Spotsy next week. Yeah, so that's all for the bike counter report today. Yes.
Where on Fall Hill Avenue?
Question. Shared use path. Fredericksburg. Oh, that's gonna be okay. Thank you for your question. That will be up by like Hospitality Lane, is it? So on the western side of 95,
Where the hotels are.
where the hotels are, like near Wegmans, yeah.
I'm still seeing,
That crossing issue, yeah.
and I tell you what, if you were to put a camera there this weekend or a lawn chair and just sit there and count, I mean, it is. Cause that's where I go to work, and I
Right.
mean, no matter how much we still have like signs that tell people go around, they still insist on running across the road.
Mhm.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I'll look at that again. I just feel like, or I'm not sure how the bike counter would capture that movement since it is
Right.
less like, people are just running across the road but I'll.
It's just like if we can some way document it, so we know
Yes,
that that's,
okay.
then we can go even to, the council or whoever and be like,
Right.
what can we do to try and help?
No, that's good. Thanks for.
One
bringing
item on
back
that,
up.
VDOT was doing a study down there on Fall Hill.
That's true.
They would have had, the consultant would have done traffic counts at that intersection, I think. I don't know if you recall, Rachel, where they did traffic counts. If they did do them at that intersection, they would have done 12-hour counts, I believe, which would have included likely pedestrians and bicyclists. So those counts may have caught people crossing the street there. I'm not certain though.
Okay.
So we've used that across the county to get idea on where pedestrians are,
Yeah.
but I don't know to the extent that that study covered that intersection or the extent it counted people. So, but VDOT may be able to provide that data for that day.
Thanks.
And if no one has anything else, we can move on. Or that's all I have to say.
Okay, all right, well, don't go anywhere. Next item will be the complete streets update.
Yeah. Okay, status report for you all. We'll just jump right into it. Next slide. Here's an overarching timeline of the complete streets process. We're finally have really nailed down a date we hope this plan can be approved. Again, for new members, the complete streets plan is kind of the catch-all, like multimodal transportation plan for the whole region. Stafford, Spotsylvania, and Fredericksburg. So focusing on transit and bikes and pedestrians. Hence, this committee being especially important for this development. So we've been working on this plan for like a year, and just in February had a workshop with our technical advisory committee. And moving forward, these are just some timelines, stepping stones to hopefully getting it adopted this summer. Next slide. In the January BPAC meeting, I had done a quick summary of the public survey that we had out for this plan. But looking at it again, this is just kind of some more key takeaways, that people aren't walking and biking if they feel unsafe, if there isn't infrastructure to accommodate their walk or bike ride, and if destinations are too far. Overall, survey takers prioritize new infrastructure for safe walking and cycling opportunities. Safety improvements at intersections was a big one. And also expanded and improved bus service. So safety and access were like kind of the two priorities taken from survey takers. Again, this is reading the results of the survey. And this is this slide and the few slides to follow are kind of taken from that TAC workshop we had, just to catch everyone up to speed on what we talked about with like locality staff and transit staff, and what's going into the plan moving forward. Next slide. Yeah, so this is one that was a big part of the workshop, was just trying to nail down some priority corridors for the region. And we had also discussed some other gaps, but yes, Jacob and Matthew were involved in these conversations, and this was me trying to incorporate the feedback from the workshop into the map there. And you both know how to give me feedback if that's incorrect.
No, that's good.
I followed up.
Yes,
I
you
think
did.
we're
You
good.
did. You did.
I think we're good.
Okay.
I think that's at me.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought it was a productive workshop, or at least I was like, I benefited the most from this because now I know what's going on. But that's what we talked about. One of the things we talked about, next slide, Eugene. We also talked about public transportation needs, noting the challenges of building bus stops that have shelters, benches, and pointing out a few examples of bus stops that are lacking those facilities. And I hope to get some more feedback from FXB Go and also OmniRide for maybe some ideas of even like pushing a legislative change in Virginia to make it easier, question mark. But just like ideas we're trying to, again, improve these facilities in the region. Next slide, Eugene. Oh yeah, also just talked a little bit about other options like for early action, which are, you know, flexible, cheap and short-term projects to improve conditions or even just kind of test new ideas and introduce the public to what possibilities there are. Yeah, this was kind of just briefly mentioned by me in the workshop, but bringing it up again as a consideration now. Yeah, that's all for now. So BPAC is not meeting in April, but I'm gonna try after more TAC gives me their feedback after their workshop. I'm gonna create a few presentations on the plan content for final notes from our other committees. But I guess you all should look for the public comment opportunity that will follow as an opportunity to kind of, yeah, give the last feedback. But like also, I want to bring this to you today, since we're missing that April meeting, if there's anything else that should be considered for this plan, anything like this.
So the April presentation will be given to TAC and PC.
TAC, PC, yeah.
I mean, is there anything stopping you giving it to the first in May? BPAC?
No, actually, can you just go back to the second slide? Let me press that. It's in May.
I mean, it's the first week in May, so
Yeah, no, I can do this.
just holding it off a few days.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, don't be shy if you have something you want to tell me today either, you know,
I mean,
earlier is better.
I'll just reiterate this. I think I made the comments on like that stuff. I kind of defer to the transportation and Rodney and all on the public transport, but I did bring it up at that technical meeting, and I'll reiterate it again. I think we've had interest potentially from development community, if it's within a pedestrian shed, to try to upgrade some of those signs stuck on poles.
Yeah.
Horrible weather, it just, I mean, inaccessible, they're just sitting on the top of a curb, a sign, there's garbage around the garage. In a grassy field, absolutely inhospitable. I don't know why anyone would go to a site like that unless it was a good weather, an ice storm, whoever.
Right.
I think there would potentially be, and we had started pursuing with some of our developments, especially mixed use with residential and other things, the prospect of, hey, within a quarter mile, there is XYZ poor condition bus stop. But the issue, and I'll say it again, that maybe I need to follow up in writing, was that they literally, if they're on private sites, they don't even have like an easement to be able to construct the improved bus stop with a shelter and things. They're just literally a sign stuck on a pole. And until that easement allowing access to construct an improvement is there, I don't think we'll ever get a profit improvement for it. Because it's off-site and the land isn't accessible and they're not gonna buy in and negotiate. So honestly, in my opinion, if there was a way to even secure the box to do it, we may have more way to get profit improvements. Other than that, they're gonna have to be public projects. I don't see any other way around it. I know VDOT was working on trying to upgrade a number of sites within the region. I don't know, talking with Paul, he suggested that inflation had knocked that project down from something like 20 upgrades down to 5. And so that really.
There's only one in Stafford.
Yeah, it's really a sad state of affairs. And so I'm looking at other ways to potentially do it, but if the space isn't even available and the only thing that's allowable is a sign sticking on a pole, then that's all you're gonna get is a sign sticking on a pole until you have some large public funds to do something else.
Yeah, if anybody wants to go up to the North Stafford Walmart, you'll see a sign sticking on a wooden pole with sandbags below it holding it up.
Yeah, it's really,
That's why we're planning to move it.
it's pretty
But
sad.
to get the funding to move it, it's gotta be a part of a larger $20 million project, and
And the very nature of
No funding
the
for it.
stops and conditions, I mean, by their own nature are gonna drive down users. I mean,
Yeah.
who would go there? It's raining, it's snowing, you're just exposed to all the weather. It's just,
Yeah, I think one thing, Eugene, if you're able to go to the slide with the public transit stops. You know, the one on the upper left in Stafford, we have a project that's improving that one to an actual bus stop. The one on the bottom left, VDOT has a project that's improving that one to actual bus stop. The one in the center, I believe that one is a part of the Lafayette Boulevard sidewalk project that VDOT is doing. The one on the upper right, that might be included as the widening project we talked about. One of the widening projects that Hunter's Ridge is doing. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of stuff getting upgraded. It just takes a long
it
time
does.
to get.
And unfortunately, this is just a small sample of how many
Yes.
are like this.
Yes,
There's
but some of the
very
very bad cases here.
Yeah.
It's
Lena
just
made
like
a full inventory, didn't you, of the bus stops that are lacking amenities?
Shelter or benches,
Yep.
those that don't.
Yep.
Yes. I can't go. I think like 70% down across the.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, recognizing how challenging it is and this plan just trying to help, help any way it can, like, so that's where the feedback is from, just, how can it help?
I have one other comment. Eugene, if you're able to go to the map of the actual complete streets, yeah, that's one. So when I mentioned earlier that longer term plan with that Plantation Drive connection on that project, that's this map essentially. You start in North Stafford, work your way down, work your way across, work your way through the city, and then work your way down on Spassy or out to King George. So a lot of this is planned, funded. There's still some gaps, still some large stuff to do, but I mean, that one going from North Stafford all the way down to the Spassy VRE is, or Shannon Airport at least, has a lot of oomph to it. So definitely getting there.
Did the bus stops condition come up in the survey responses from the public? But I'm trying to remember, there were open response or free
Right,
response.
yeah, the
Yeah, okay.
comments. Yeah, probably, I kind of can't remember right now,
Curious.
I think so. Actually, you know what, if you want, on the FAMPO website, on the complete streets page, there's the presentation that I gave at the TAC workshop.
Okay.
And that includes all of the public comments from, there's a presentation there that has all of the free response.
Oh,
Uh,
some of those are fun comments.
yeah. Those will also be in the final plan, but before that comes out, if you wanna look at them.
Sure.
They're-
Thanks.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all for me.
Any other comments on this? All right, then we will move on to the next item on the agenda, correspondence. And it's the AMPO support for the Transportation Basics Act. Is that Association of Metropolitan Planning?
It sure
Associations?
is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a national group. This is basically just letting folks know that there is a new transportation bill up and people are pretty excited about it. It provides a lot of new funding for both rural and metropolitan areas. It shifts funding to a more local and regional level instead of national and state level. So it's good stuff. Check it out. Support it if you can. It's going to be much better than what we currently have. So there's a link for that. There's also a link in your packet for information about it, including the entire text of the bill if you want to read it and the summary, one-page overview summary. So educate yourself about it. Check it out.
I think I saw it on the one-page review, there was something about the flexibility of funding increasing. Can you speak to how that would be improved?
So I've been very busy working on the build grant, but so I haven't done a lot of research on this, but I do know that instead of putting everything into very tiny buckets where you can only use money for this specific thing,
Okay.
it's more of giving the organizations money and saying, here's some money, you figure out what to do with it. which is great
Yeah.
because, you know, localities and regions know what they need to spend their money on.
Right.
So it's not so much top down,
Yeah.
which is why everybody's so excited.
For instance, it gives more money towards the STBG program, which is controlled locally.
Okay.
And that is a very do what you want.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can assign funding to anything.
It's a block grant, so like chunk of money that they give
Right.
us.
Okay.
It's only like the shifting funding is like 2.5% extra. We calculated it, but still helpful.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
It will mean a lot for the rural areas because
On that type
there's
of things, yes.
very little
Yeah.
money. That's that. Actually, I'll put it in staff reports.
All right, if there's no other comments on the Basics Act, the next item is staff reports.
So for my staff report, if you would be willing, Eugene, to pull up something from the conference room email.
I looked for Gary Eves.
What's that?
Should I look for Gary Eves to find it?
Yeah, I
It
just
might have
sent,
just loaded in.
I just sent it, like,
Tax selection.
there you go. The Commonwealth Transportation Board has made their selections for TAP project funding. And this was a policy committee presentation. Actually, they haven't even seen it yet. It's for next week. So ignore that. But basically, I just want you to skip through and just look at the list of TAP projects. Go on, there you go. So these are the FAMPO area TAP projects selected for funding. TAP is Transportation Alternatives Program. It's basically for bike peds, safe routes to school. There are several other things, but usually we just apply for bicycle and pedestrian projects, sidewalk projects, ways to get safely to school, things like that. So in our area, everybody in FAMPO got something. The first one there, Stafford County, that's a different bucket of funding for the transportation management area. Northern Stafford, they get different money. And aside from them, the CTB members get to select projects, and that's district funding. So Stafford, you got a sidewalk at Falmouth Elementary. Can you talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, so that's a sidewalk project from Thomas Jefferson Place, which is the town and community just northwest of the elementary school. Going down Thomas Jefferson Place, up down Forbes Street, and then across Forbes Street to the elementary school. So that'll provide connectivity for the 200, 300 townhomes maybe, for people to walk across and get to the school instead of having to take the bus. Right now, those people take the bus 30 seconds to the school.
30 seconds?
Maybe. I don't know if they take
Maybe
the
the
bus.
minute or whatever, but
Or they either take the bus or they drive. Either way, it's like, okay, on a nice day, you can now walk to school.
It's cool.
So
that's
very good.
great.
yeah. And then we're also looking at what I'll call a quick build project just south of the school to put a sidewalk and a crosswalk across at Sapphire Court as well. So running connectivity north and south. The TAP project is just the north part, but looking at both.
And you mentioned the Mine Road one, I
Mhm.
think earlier.
Yeah, the Mine Road one was a part of just south of one of our Smart Square projects. That's really just providing a intersection that I don't know what the counter was at, but 10, 20, 30 people cross, 40 people cross a day. Some crosswalks on all four legs and sidewalks on all four legs, just sidewalk connectivity throughout for that intersection. So that one's already at 60% design, aim to go to public hearing this summer and right away next year in construction, hopefully by within the next 2 years. So Forbes Street will be a little bit slower behind, but I'll also mention we had a project Kings Highway at Chatham Heights that did not get funded, but we do aim to just keep going.
Okay.
If VDOT will allow us get to construction and just reapply for TAP so that when we get there in 2 years, we just are ready to go to construction. So we'll see.
Because that's a very important connection.
Yes, it
So
is.
the next one, Germana Point.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
That's the project we've talked about previously. Okay.
That's a connection.
Yeah.
So Germana Point Drive sidewalk, that's the one I think we talked about earlier that was on the right side of the map, the upcoming TAP project in the pink or purple it was. That is that one. So they are applying for TAP funding, and so far it has been preliminarily selected for funding. So let's hope that goes through. and then the Charles and William Street raised intersection. So this is basically making that intersection much more pronounced. They raise it, they do a different kind of like brick or something to make it stand out so that cars know to stop for pedestrians there. Just really emphasizes it. So that one has also been selected for funding. Next slide, please. We'll explain it a little bit. So these selections are included in VDOT's draft 6-year improvement program. And then spring, they do their public hearing process. As long as that all passes, then it goes into the final project selections, and we find that out in June. So as long as all goes well, they're funded. So congratulations, everybody, on that. That's all I wanted to share.
Example of one piece at a time type of thing. Germanna, in the Germanna connector road over to Spotsy Avenue. I mean, this is the sidewalk portion of that to the community college from 17. The other, well, stop short of the community college because that sidewalk's also in that smart scale project section, plus the shared use path smart scale. But it's just unfortunately the way it is with these projects. It's very rare you can do it all at once, so it tends to happen in pieces. But it's a win.
Piece by piece, if you just keep at it, it gets built.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my staff report.
Nice, good question. So why was the William and Charles Street intersection selected to raise?
You would have to ask the CTB member at large.
You're asking why it was selected for TAP or why it was selected to be an actual raised intersection?
Either or, yeah.
Like that one out of other downtown.
So you know about the downtown traffic study? It was from that, I believe.
Okay, cool.
Yes, it was. It was from that study. And it was a recommendation by that study. Sorry, I thought you were asking why it was selected.
Either or, yeah.
So there are scorecards for each one of these projects that the OIP staff puts together. Stop laughing, Matthew. And then the CTV members look at those scorecards, and that helps guide their decision, but ultimately it is their decision on these.
Context. I laughed because the Kings Highway Chatham Heights project did not get selected. It was number 5 in the state. The Charles Street, William Street did get selected. It was number 2nd to last in the state, right? So they don't follow the scorecards.
Right.
Yeah.
They go by other factors, what they're looking for. So
Awesome.
Okay. I've seen that as well.
Right, do we have any other staff reports?
I have a staff report real quick. So our transportation goals and needs survey that we've been pushing for the last month or so. The original deadline to complete it was March 6th. It's supposed to be tomorrow, but we have decided to push back that deadline to March 17th so that we can go to the Fredericksburg Community Connections Exposition and work with people there to help them take the survey. Still take the survey if you can. We're trying to reach 1,000 survey takers total. We currently have 926. So yeah, if literally everyone in this room takes a survey, sends it to 3 people and asks those 3 people to send it to 3 other people, then we'll be well over our goal, and let me leave the office and go back home. So
Where can they find it?
You can, so the easiest way to find it is to go on FAMPO and you will see a nice little pop-up, and then you can click this and then it will take you to our nice little survey. You can also, we have a link, it's just bit.ly/goals and needs. You do that too, it'll take you to the survey.
is there a map as a part of the survey?
Huh?
Is there a map as a part of the survey?
No. There are open-ended questions that let you tell us where there are problems, but there isn't a map in the survey zone. For me, staff, it was.
Any additional? Okay, all right, then we'll move on to member reports. Any members like to report?
Our Stafford Borough sidewalk project is nearly complete. We're just finishing up some of the water line stuff. That's up in North Stafford. Started construction late last year, end of last year, and to complete it in the next couple months. So that was a vital connection between the North Stafford Park and Ride lot and, I guess the townhome trailer park and residential communities just east of there. That's nearly complete, so good on that.
For King George, the middle school sidewalk to Dalton Road intersection of Kings Highway should be done this summer. Very, very close to being all set to start it, meeting monthly with BPAC, because they're managing the program for.
Is that TAP?
Administering force, it's TAP,
Is
yeah.
that the ready section?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
It's part of the Ready Set Down.
That's 2 years.
It's
Yeah.
the,
Yeah, we're,
Fantastic.
because state forces are gonna do it.
Oh,
They've
okay.
allowed us to move
Got it.
up in the timeline a little bit.
Okay.
So I don't have to worry about, hopefully don't have to worry about all those deadlines.
State forces are always quicker. Okay, I hear it.
Yeah, let's see, the only report I have, we had a, race on the trails scheduled for January. Because of the ice, we had to cancel it. We have this really, really, it's really interesting movie of our race director ice skating on the trail, ice skating up to the camera and say, well, I think we're gonna cancel the race this weekend. But she would really a good ice skater, but that's the only time we've ever heard of anybody actually ice skating on the trail. But the other thing, we can continue to work with the park on trail linking path, railroad trail, across Lake Caledon, addition to it. So we hope that'll be open soon. That's gonna have to happen when that trail opens. We're gonna have to look at an improved crosswalk across the road there, Caledon Road.
Oh, yeah.
Which is high-speed road and, you know, lots of issues there. So we'll be working with highway department on that. About all I have to report for right now.
Thank you. The other,
Just a couple things. I have noticed, I don't know if there's a way, something about spring brings out the people and their lack of ability to pay attention to, like, I mean, just go downtown, drive downtown and like, it's just, it's, yeah, it's a problem and it's dangerous. It's the first like 3 weeks of warm weather that we get, and I'm just wondering every year about, is there some way just to like communicate to people that to be aware and do that.
do you mean drivers or pedestrians or both? Yeah.
Because,
Okay.
because the people are just like, it's so beautiful out and they're just walking in the traffic. Drivers have their music up, you know, like everyone is literally just, you know, soaking in the warm weather. And I just noticed like it gets really increased scattered attention for like 2 or 3 weeks this time of year.
Okay, yeah.
So
Do that.
wonder if there's some kind of messaging campaign over time that we could think about with that, understanding I'm brand new, so these things might not be within the purview. And the only other thing was I'm beginning to see a lot more on Strava, because Strava is like for cyclists and that type of thing, people reporting almost getting killed on Jim Morris Road in Spotsylvania, because there's people use, so they ride out from here, Fredericksburg, and they go 217 south, and then they cut over to Jim Morris to get into Caroline County, where it's all back roads, and especially on the weekends. But it's just because there's increased amount of traffic even on those times that there's some little dips where you go up and over there. And there's more traffic, more things getting built on Jim Morris. And so there's a lot more cyclists reporting like incidents on that stretch in that area.
I could piggyback on that. That's actually a good point. Jim Morris Road has not historically been on our thoroughfare plan for any targeted road improvement projects. And I understand recently now there's talk about putting a traffic circle at Jim Morris and Tidewater Trail, believe it or not. That's what we've recently added to the thoroughfare plan. The other thing is we added a 2-lane improvement project into the thoroughfare plan that would result in wider travel lanes and paved shoulders on that road, just for more wiggle room and safety purposes. The problem is it has to be prioritized for funding. But the first step, it is being identified now. This is the first time Jim Morris has actually hit in the thoroughfare plan with intersection projects. Actually, we'll have one at 17 and one at Tidewater Trail. And then the road in between identifies a 2-lane improvement project. That's also aimed at safety and maneuverability, sight lines and things of that nature. So that actually is also kind of a segue to the fact that Spotsylvania County Comprehensive Plan is in its 5-year update cycle. We're well into drafting on that document. I just sent the Transportation and Trailways Master Plan documents off to BDOT for their state review. It's kind of a requirement of the state code. Transportation plan's been through our Transportation Committee, Planning Commission. We took all the major initiatives through the board supervisors at work sessions recently, so it's now under state review, and hopefully we'll have that chunk of it in pretty good shape if we get thumbs up or whatever edits we have to make with VDOT. But comp plan's well underway, and that's about all I have right now. The other thing I would say is we recently had a rezoning project. I can't emphasize enough how important sometimes private development is to advancing private infrastructure, public infrastructure. We had a project called Patriot Crossing, a mixed use kind of project, residential, detached, attached, and commercial pad sites along the Route 1 corridor, right at where Guinea Station Road comes in Route 1 corridor. That project was ultimately approved. It was a close one, 4-3 vote. That road will be constructing Guinea Station Road Extension Road on its site and taking that road west of Route 1. Ultimately, that road is planned to come up to the intersection of Massaponax Church Road and Smith Station, tying to Route 1 that way, so all traffic doesn't have to go Massaponax Church Road. It also comes with frontage improvements, shared use path, and then a shared use path up Guinea Station Road extension. That'll tie into the Nye Village project, which we understand it's already been enabled. They're looking at by right developing that. Private development will have constructed effectively a third of that road before we even have to look at the rest of it. So little wins. We have a lot of progress in proffered improvements and required frontage improvements along the Route 1 corridor, all part of the East Coast Greenway route, as well as the Nye River Trail. That's when you start getting the Guinea Station Road extension running up to Patriot Park and things of that nature. But that's all my update right now. Thanks.
I'll just mention, since Luke, you asked that question about the raised intersections, and I was thinking about when I come down William Street as a driver or cross this crosswalk at I think it's right before Sedona Tap House. It's really hard to see pedestrians because there's cars parked right up to the crosswalk there. Curious how planners would improve that for safety.
These bump outs.
You'd cut out the parking spots.
Yeah,
and
you'd try
I think there's bump outs there today.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, but you'd probably cut out those parking spots.
Yeah, too
Go
close.
Say the Catholic church up on William Street. You'll notice there's no parking spots right up to the entrance to the church.
Okay.
On Route 3.
Yeah.
I guess yeah, Route 3. On William Street, for sight distance, you do something similar. You just
Okay.
wouldn't. You'd on either corner, you'd remove the parking spots on the corners.
I'd say this too. It's the city, so the city's kind of a unique in their.
Got a lot of power.
In terms of elevated crosswalks and things like that, generally speaking, I know if it was a VDOT roads in the counties, they're not really looking for elevated vertical kind of intersection controls or traffic calming. They tend to use more horizontal things like the bump outs or chicanes and all these different things.
Right.
Preferring that over thing, because I don't know how it works in the city, but if you have an ice storm or snowstorm, there's a concern around wear and tear on how you clean if you're running plows and things. I think that can be an issue at times. I don't know how it works in the city, how it's designed. I'm not sure, but I know that has been an issue in the past, some of those vertical improvements over the horizontal ones.
Okay. Right, well, are there no other member reports? Then I can move to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Right, all those in favor?
All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, Brent.
Absolutely, so good.
Said 9.
Yeah.
So,